Hello everyone. We have discussed how to create the geometry and how can we apply the supports. Our next section is how to create the property. So basically there are the two main methods to assign a property to a beam oblique column and one method for composite sections. So for beams, first is prismatic for concrete section and second one is the steel sections. So here you can see this is my prismatic for concrete section, and this is my columns, and this is my 450 is my depth, this is 230 is my width, and the YD and ZD depends on the local coordinate systems. You can understand by the three fingers of your right hand. From the help of the finger, you can understand the local coordinates of the particular columns. So first you fix your thumb in the length parallel to the length. So other one finger is your YD and next one finger is your ZD, and this is your beams. So this is your concrete sections and this is your steel sections. Here you can see this is my ISMB members and this is my boltings and this is ISMB. Okay, so this is my hollow sections. So this is my square hollow sections and this is my rectangular hollow sections. So these are the some properties we can assign on the ETABS. So first of all, I have only the grid lines for my project. For defining the properties, it is divided into two parts. First, you just define the material properties and then define the cross sections properties. First, define the material properties. You just go to the define and select the material properties options. Now when you will click, I have a dialog box in front of us. By default in the left hand side it have the three type of the properties. This is the by default properties as per United States codes. So for defining the Indian properties, you can select a new material, select the reasons where you are using your materials. Suppose I am using my material in India, so I am selecting here India and select the second option, material tabs. So this is my concrete. Here you can see I have the different type of the materials: steel, concrete, aluminium, rebar. So I am selecting here concrete. Select the standards. This is my Indian and the grade of concrete is M20. I have the different type of the grades. So basically grade M20, it means the ratio of the particular compressive strength of the concretes. So suppose I am selecting here M20, click on OK. When you will click the OK, a other dialog box will open in front of us. In this, first select the material name. So suppose this is my material M20 of, this is of M20 and my material and select the material tab. This is my concrete, and the symmetric is also isotropic. Okay, and it will calculate the by default all the values, so you just don't disturb the values and click on OK. Now in this dialog box you will see I have my material, that is M20, and OK. Now again go to the define the section properties. First I have defined the materials of my beams oblique column, then define the cross sections of the prismatic sections. So go to the define section property and frame sections. When you will click, I have a dialog box in front of us. In this, first I have the default properties in the left hand side, so you just click on the add new properties. When you will click, I have other dialog box. In this I have the different type of the properties, that is the shape properties. I have some concrete, some steel properties, and some composites, that is made by the steel and the concrete, and some special cases. So basically, suppose if I have the concrete properties, so you just select the concrete. When you will click the concrete, I will have a dialog box in front of us. So you just mention the property name. Suppose this is my column, and that is 450 by 300. This is my column size, and then select the material that is defined earlier by users, that is M20, and mention the sizes. And other one, you can select the section shapes. So this is my concrete rectangular. You can change your sections any other time by the help of this list, and then select the dimensions. Suppose this is my 450 and my width is 300, and you also check the preview top of the right. Then you set the reinforcement by the help of modify and show rebar option. When you will click, it will ask you what are you designing. You are designing column or beams. So this is my column, so I'm selecting here column options. Then select the materials. Here you can see I don't have my materials, so for importing your material you just click on the three dots, and this is my material. Again click on the list and select your material. Similarly for the longitudinal bar and ties. After that, reinforcement configurations. This type of configuration you want to have. This is my rectangular and circular, so I want to have rectangular and ties also, and I want to reinforcement to be designed. Now set all the parameters from the codes. So you just follow the code SP34. This is my longitudinal bar. Okay, so this is clear cover 40 mm and number of bars along the three faces. Three faces matlab this is my three phase and this is my two phase. So the three phase parallel, I want to have suppose 4 number of bars parallel to this three phase, and 2 bars, this is two phase, this is suppose my 2 bars. Longitudinal bar sizes, suppose I want to use 12 bars and this is my area of the 12, and the corner bars is my heavy bars, so suppose selecting the 16 bars. Same you can set the parameters for the ties. Suppose this is my dia, that is the 12, 8 and 10. So suppose I am selecting here, normally we are using the 8 mm and this is my area, and you can set the spacings and proportionally number of bars. Click on OK. So when you will click here, you can see I set the 4 number bars parallel to the 3 and 2 number of bars parallel to the 2. So you can modify any other times. Suppose number of the longitudinal bars is my 4, that is of 3, and number of longitudinal bar along the 2, that is my 4. Okay, so this is the arrangement of the bars, and from the strength point of view. Click on OK. So I have the one property for the columns. Similarly, you can add the beam properties. Click on add new property. Click on concrete. Again, mention the beam properties. This is my beams, that is of 450 by 230. Now select the material and select the size. Suppose this is 450 my depth, and this is of 230 is my width. So this is my proof. After that, you set your reinforcement. Similarly, you can, here you are talking about the beam, so select the beam parameter, and again select the material by click on 3 dots. This is M20, this is M20. Okay, again OK. So I have the one property of beam, and click on OK. Now you click on the beam tools. When you will click the beam tools, lower left dialog box will open, and select the property of the beam. So this is, suppose I am drawing my beams, so I am selecting here beam property and making a beam on base. Suppose you want to draw your beam on story number 1, so you can go to the story 1 by the help of these move up keys. So when you click on this, here you can see this is story number 1 where I am standing right now, and draw your beam on the grid line. Now I have drawn my beams, that is the size of the 450 by 230, and suppose if you want to check the views, 3D views, so this is your 3D view, and yes, this is your 230 and 450. So this is your size of the beams. Now similarly you can draw your columns. This is my draw columns tools in the left hand sides. Click on this. When you will click in the lower left, a property dialog box will open. So first you select your property of columns. This is my column property, and draw your columns. Suppose I have one column here, and I have one column here, here and here. So this is my column, this is my columns, that is the 450 by 300. You can change the orientation of the columns first by the help of when you are drawing your column. Suppose I'm just undo. I want to rotate the column orientation in this direction. So when you will click this options, at the time it will ask you about the angles. Suppose I have the angle of 90 degree, and when you will draw the orientation in this direction, suppose I want to rotate this column in this directions, you can select the columns and go to the assign and go to the local axis and mention here angle. Suppose I want to rotate by angles 90 degree, apply, so it will rotate at 90 degrees. So you can rotate your column in any other directions. Now this is my column and beam properties. Suppose I want to draw a slab properties. So first, for assigning the slab, you go to the define the slab properties, go to the define section properties and slab sections. Similarly, I have the two type of the by default properties. So click on add new property, and suppose this is my slab 125. Select the material, and here this is cell thin, it means for the slab, and this is slab depth. Suppose I have the 125 mm slab thickness. Click on OK. So here you can see I have one defined property in my dialog box. Click on OK. After that, in the left hand side you have the three options to draw your slab. So you can select the last one option, quick draw floor. When you will click, similarly it will ask you about the properties. So mention your slab properties. Suppose this is slab 125, and make a slab properties by a selection box. Now here you can see I'm just changing the, suppose this is my shell object. Now this is my slab. Now you can apply the slab property by the help of the define command. So these are the property for the prismatic sections. Now similarly you can assign the steel section properties. Suppose first I am just deleting all the RCC part. Now I want to draw my property in steel sections. So first just go to the define section and frame section. add new property. Suppose I have the steel, this is my ISMB sections, and suppose this is my column, and this is my material. And you can edit this material any other times. Suppose this is my material properties, add new material, and this, suppose this is my regions, steels, and suppose I want to use Fe250, click on OK and OK. So this is my steel properties. Now go to the again section properties and frame section, add new steel, and suppose this is my column, and this is Fe250 is my column property, click on OK. So I have the one property for the columns. Similarly, other is my channel sections, and this is my suppose beam. Select the material for the beams and click on OK. Now OK. Again select the beam tools and select the beam for the steel sections and make a selection box around the object. Now you will see this is my channel property on this particular object. Now you can assign the columns. Suppose I have the 4 column at the corners, so this is my ISMB. So you can assign the column and beam property in a very easy way by a single click. So I hope you understand the property session.